Hello and welcome to New Moon Wisdom Gatherings, and I'm so happy you're all joining us here today. We have the April new moon in Aries again, and yeah, we have quite some energies picking up this week. We have the eclipse and the new moon and the changing of the seasons from Aries into Taurus. So let's explore a little bit about that. But before we go there, let's do a little grounding, a little resting into the space. And yeah, so if it feels comfortable, just close your eyes and take your seat in this circle. Yeah, and just feel into your body. Feel into your feet touching the earth. Now take a few deep breaths in and slowly out again. And just feel how the energy within you shifts. Maybe you brought some tension with you from the day into the circle, and now you can feel it dissolving with every breath you take. This space is just for us, just for you. And just stay in this seat of yours. Feel the earth again under your feet. Feel the connection to Mother Earth. Feel how you're held in this moment by her. And now, take one more deep breath in. And slowly out again. And slowly come back into the circle. Open your eyes. And let's be present for each other. Yeah. Yeah, so just a little check-in maybe. How are you doing? How do you feel about the shifting of the season now from one sign to the next, from a fiery energy of Aries now into a more earthy Taurus season? And yeah, what does that mean to you? And if you would like to share, you can just come on.
Well, as I took a look, or am taking a look at the Aries energy, one of the things, in fact, I was writing in my journal, it's mediated by being a new moon. And so what I was noticing is that it keeps the Aries fire energy from flying off into space because you have a combination of the moon with the Martian energy. So that keeps it from being so, it can be very volatile. And so that's what I'm noticing, that there is a kind of a, it's banked fire. That's how I'm looking at
Mm-hmm.
it. That
Oh, I like
fire
that.
is
Yeah.
is sitting there, and it can warm us up, but it won't just make us crispy critters by by flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm feeling it.
Mhm. So now the fire energy is getting a little bit more contained.
It's right,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
little more controlled because the moon energy,
Hmm.
like I said, I'm combining both the planets and the signs, and
Hmm.
since um, uh, they're both interestingly enough, the moon rules, of course, rules um, Cancer, but they're both cardinal. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that we can use is that push forward, where,
Hmm.
if we really tap in, personally, I am feeling that pushing forward because
Hmm.
that's the Aries energy, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Let's go.
But it's mediated by having some of that watery energy. But Cancer is not a slouch. People always think that Cancerians, they go around like this, little crabbies. But it is a cardinal sign too, and it has an impetus to move things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which goes with the Chariot card, which is
That's
this
right.
year's card, and that
That's right.
um anticipation of moving forward, and
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the cardinal energy I feel
Hmm.
of Cancer
Hmm.
there as well coming in.
And Aries, yeah, because
And
it's
obviously
definitely
Aries,
yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, if I could add a little bit
yes, please.
to that, because I feel that um, it's a little tricky to work with sometimes because if the feel of the push, um, and then that feeling of, okay, meditate on what you're pushed to do. Like
Mhm.
you feel the push, don't just leap, because it feels like I could get burned very easily. It feels like the potential to leap and either get burned or be burned out fast is really here. Like that's what I
Mhm.
feel. So it's kind of like this, okay, you have this push, now be discerning. Um, take a little bit of that space, the
Mhm.
spaciousness.
Mhm.
Um, to plan maybe, or just just to think about how you want to move forward, because just
Yeah.
leaping, I mean, I feel like our world is just full of leaping, and you can see how crazy and disastrous it looks like right now. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh no, don't do that.
Mhm. I think volatile is the word for our
Yeah,
world at the moment. So yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not certain, is it as volatile in your part of the world as it is in ours? I don't
I
know.
think it is.
Is
It's
it? Okay.
everywhere. I mean, Europe and with Ukraine at our
Right.
doorstep,
That,
and
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah,
there's enough going on everywhere, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So also, isn't this the what, the 29th degree or the very last degree of Aries before it? And I don't know, I just feel like it's almost that 10 of Wands energy that we were kind of,
It is. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that discerning, that moment to just, okay, pause. What do I need to keep? What do I need to let go of?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was meditating on my 10 of Wands today because I'm a day behind on the
Me
on the
too.
challenge. But I thought this was the perfect woo. Let me just make sure you can see it's perfect card for that. It's like this, if you fly too high too fast, you're gonna fall. That's kind of what
Mhm.
this feels like to me. It's like it feels like
Mhm.
an Icarus
Yeah.
kind of thing. Um, and crashing and burning. I feel like this energy is really here. So I think we're being asked to just have stillness,
Mhm.
along with that push,
Yeah.
and it's tricky to do that. It's not,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's tricky, but I think it's totally doable if we have more consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually have a little, perhaps I can share this as a little bit of a remedy to the 29th degree. If you add, now this is numerology, if you add 29, you get 11. 11
Right.
is a master number. A
Mhm.
master number means that it's necessary to go into the your intuitive, heart-centered space. Because if you add 11, you get two, and two is is literally the heart number, because how many we have, like the 2 chambers in the heart, we got the 2 in the mind. And going with what Monica just said, it's about discernment, because if you take that 11 and you go to your intuition, you got to discern. So and of course many people define the 29th degree as the anorectic degree, and it's kind of crazy and it's all of this, but it's taking it apart and then putting it back together. And I think kind of that's what we're doing with ourselves, because you were mentioning, Alexandra, all the stuff that, that's going on. And it's like there's personal, there's collective, and we've got to be wise to choose from the collective what we can use, and we got to get rid of the rest of it. We just can't. We can't take on all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I've been thinking about now, these past the past Aries season as well, because the main minor cards that are connected with Aries season is the 2 and 3 and 4 of Wands. So it is that initial moment, that moment of inspiration to, yes, start looking out and going out into the world, but it's not that full on yet. And I think, speaking from myself, I tend to forget that part, that it's still spring, it's still in my part of the world, and it's still that tender space that I can just savor for that moment and see where it will take me later on through the year. That's that time of inspiration, just that bud, that promise of something new, but not wanting all the things at one go. And that's where I have to pull myself back, because then the fire isn't contained anymore and it's blazing and I'm flat out. So that's especially now coming into Taurus season, we have the cards 5, 6, and 7 of Pentacles, and that's like taking a step back and taking it slowly, and really regenerating it again a little bit, and see where things take me, and tending to my own space as well. So it's a slower, and looking at the cards like that, it's a paced invitation to go about my everyday with the seasons. Yeah, so Karen, I think you had some stones.
Yeah, I had a couple stones that wanted to come today. And you know, they just popped in my head and they were perfect. So I of course have black moonstone, you know, moonstone being that divine feminine. It is a wind element, but you know, there's all different types of moonstone. There's peach moonstone, there's rainbow moonstone. Rainbow moonstone actually is more of a labradorite, but they call it moonstone. You know, there's different types of moonstone, but this black one, you know, we're honoring the dark, the new moon, the darkness. She is just very feminine and receptive, and just, oh gosh, it was so wonderful to just kind of connect with her today. But she wanted a partner to come along, and lo and behold, it was sunstone. So, you know, I had to have these energies of you know, a sunstone brings the joy and the energy of the sun and the Ra and the masculine and the feminine. And I really think, you know, even though today we had the moon, it blotted out the sun for just a brief moment. I really want them to work together and integrate and harmonize. You know, I'm feeling that was kind of, oh, just to sit with both of these stones. Of course, you know, I've worked with stones a lot, so I can work with both of them. Some of them you might not want to work with both of them at one time, but I'm inviting you to, if you have any moonstone, to pick one up Just really feel into it, sit with it. Maybe, sometimes messages are so subtle with a stone. Put it to your heart and just really kind of sink into the feel of it. Look at it immediately. Now some of the messages that I immediately come, I would say black, smooth, soft, cool. Those are some of the threads that kind of link me to what that message might be sharing. And when I look at the sunstone, I see this glitter almost in this stone. This, you look at it, it shines, it sparkles. So that's also like an invitation to just the thread of the message. And this one honestly feels just a little bit warmer than this one. So I invite everybody to just step into the crystals, just sit with them. That's the only way I know how to really have you connect. I do have meditations that you can go through and connect with them, but before you look up the messages, before you look up what it is, just to sit with it for a while and discover your own unique thread. What's your intuitive whispers that you get from a stone? This one definitely brings more qualities of light. And what do I feel when I feel more alive, enthusiastic and everything when I'm working with the sunstone? More so than here's all those feminine whispers. These are the two that came today. They wanted to join and spread a little joy and cheer. So
I also what came to mind was finding that balance again within me, with that masculine and feminine energy again.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Coming out of the Mars season.
Yeah, just like that.
And then stepping into the Venus season now as well, and let them work together. Thank you for those stones. Yeah.
Sure. I'll post them in the group. I'll just take some photos. Invite anybody, and maybe, hey, if you pull some different stones, gosh, we'd love to see what your take is, or what do you want to work with? That would be wonderful. Definitely.
Yeah, I have one right here. I'm still working with my red jasper. It's just so
jasper is wonderful going into the Taurus season. That is that grounding, earthy, red, vital energy.
Right, exactly. It's so funny because I never think red is going to be as soothing and grounding as it is. And it has I feel like this might be my one for the year. Like I have others and I love working with them, but I think I got this in February and it's just been like constant. And that feel of it is something that is keeping me grounded in the middle of kind of the maelstrom that has been already this year. So yeah, but
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to say that Taurus energy or that earthy energy will just reduce the flames of the fire, it'll kind of bring it back down to a more, if some people have difficulties working with a fire stone, you can hold a wonderful earth stone for a couple days if you have some difficulties with earth stone or with fire stones, excuse me.
Right. And would you, if you don't have a sunstone, would another fire stone, like I have citrine.
Citrine is citrine, carnelian, there's carnelian, sulfur. Well, a lot of people don't have sulfur.
What about orange calcite or something like that?
Any calcite is a firestone. Okay. Any calcite. But and some of their colors will also be indicative of maybe water or something else. The color may add a different essence also, but they're all firestones. Calcites are.
Oh, good to know. Thank you.
So yes, pick up any kind of firestone if you want to work with a firestone. Be careful of those. Some people may have reactions.
I work with carnelian quite a bit. That's one that I'm very drawn to as well. So I will work in tandem. And I do have black moonstone. So
Oh, okay,
I'm
wonderful.
excited. Thank you for
So
that.
they kind of came forward and
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Karen, can you hold that moonstone up? I
yeah.
have white moonstone, but I haven't really
And the white
seen.
moonstone usually is rainbow moonstone, and that actually
Yeah.
is a labradorite. It is not
Oh,
a true moonstone.
Okay.
oh,
But most people consider it a moonstone. So
no, I
peach,
haven't seen. I have to find one of these. I haven't seen.
a
I've got
black,
some other.
yeah.
I've got Merlinite and
Merlinite is a
hematite.
windstone. I mean, Merlinite is a type of windstone. So I mean, moonstone is a windstone.
Oh,
But this one actually is more of a divine feminine. Not all of them are, the feminine, but most like labradorite, merlinite, a lot of them really are the feminine qualities more so than the
yes.
yang.
Okay.
So
Well, I have a palm. Yeah, I have a palm Merlinite. With a little gold flecks in it.
it has different energy, different messages that it shares, but hey,
Hmm.
anything that
Okay.
calls to you, I am saying pick it up and work with it. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
even just if you want to go through your house and say, what is calling to me, just ask that just like we do the cards.
Yeah.
Ask that questions of a stone, and a stone will either pop in your head or just appear like out of the corner of your eye, or you'll just know that, oh, that's the one I need to work with. So just like we do a card, invite in the intention and it will come, it will appear. Okay. So it
Will
doesn't have
do.
to be, if you don't have those stones, don't
Hmm.
worry about it. Actually go outside into the wild and ask for a stone to come to you. Just say, what stone, show me something, the universe, ask the universe to show me something that will support this intention. And
Hmm.
honestly, one will come forward. Just make sure you leave an offering if you take one from the wild. That's all. Just be mindful of where it comes from, be ethically mindful. But I'll work with found stones a lot, and I have no clue as to their mineral, what the mineral content is. I don't know. Is it, I have no idea what kind of stone it is. Some of them are, just by their colors and everything, but most of them I do not. So yeah, just use intention to find your stone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that
Thank
wisdom
you.
with us. Yeah. Layla, Kasha, are you working with stones at the moment, or yeah?
Yeah, I've got my I've got a little moonstone here, and it's quite opalescent. It's not huge specimen, but it's got a nice shimmer to it. I actually didn't know this particular one. I have other moonstones as well, like peach
So that one looks like a
white as
peach.
well. This one is a peach. I didn't know for a long time that this was actually a moonstone, but I just, because it's got nice shimmer, and I've got a carnelian which is quite orangey, and there's lots of calcite throughout, quartz through it. So there's like a quartz druzy, so it's quite it's lots of shimmer. It actually shimmers in the sun. It's got lots of rainbow, so it's not very red specimen or anything like that, but it's quite orangey.
Yeah.
So I quite like it. Yeah. Layla, do you collect stones?
Yeah, I always go for like the sort of like the light blue ones. I've got hardly anything. Well, I've got a citrine, natural citrine. They're in the other room, and a honey calcite. But typically, I mean, this is my most recent one that I've got.
That's beautiful. What is that?
Chrysocolla, is it?
Chrysocolla.
Yeah.
Chrysocolla.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was just one of those things where I kind of was reading about something in a magazine and this crystal column, and the woman had said, oh, for this purpose, go for this, but it was quite an interesting interpretation. I wouldn't have thought of that. And then that same day I went into our local sort of alternative health centre, and that was there, and I just like, oh.
Looks like it has a little malachite on it as well.
Yeah, so it's
And
it's a lot more,
that
it's a lot
green,
more sparkly.
yeah, that
And
green
it looks like
malachite is actually a firestone.
really.
Yeah,
But
malachite is a fire.
Is that the malachite there?
No, yeah, I would say the darker green on the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
what it looks like.
the back's nice as well. It's like
It kind of looks just like matrix on. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful.
yeah, lovely.
yeah. So I haven't, but I feel really old because it's one of those things like a bit when I get like when I get a really nice dag, it's like, oh, I'll save it for best. And it's kind of, I haven't done anything with it yet. So it's kind of been like in this little bag that they gave me. And the guy was really kind. He was just like, decided there was a sale just for me. And like, I mean, he wasn't doing the hard sell. He's just the nicest guy ever. So yeah, but yeah, I've not done anything with it yet because it's always like to, anyway. So
Thanks for sharing that.
yeah, and maybe I'll have a look at some of my. But I've got, as I say, I've got hardly anything in red. I've got a moonstone blue shimmer, very small one. So that's really nice, and you kind of just go like that with it, and it has this lovely blue colour. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking I would like to pull a card for the season ahead, and maybe we would like to all chime into that one card and see what we yeah okay.
Good.
I am choosing.
Excuse me, are we all pulling a card, or each one, or you are just
I'm
pulling
just
a
gonna
card?
pull
Okay.
this, and then later on we will do.
We'll go on and do our own. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm using the Journey of the Sacred Bee, and see where it's gonna take us. Ready for Taurus season. King of Discs, King of Pentacles. Interesting that he has this watery energy, that blue, and also that the concentration on the third eye. I actually thought it was King of Cups, but it's not. Yeah. So in terms of card for the season, I do feel with the color combination and that it's a combination of water and earth. Yeah.
And fire, right? Because all the kings are fire.
And all the kings are fire.
So fire of earth, that is very watery.
Yeah. Yeah. It has an inward with the third eye. I feel it has that inward energy. Connecting with intuition, connecting with that inner knowing, knowing what's good for me, that next step to take. And now coming out of that Mars energy, just take it easy.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting from this card. Yeah. Anyone else would like to chime in here?
Yeah, I just want to say that he feels like the Green Man to me, even though he's blue. Coming out from the foliage and part of the foliage, I'm really seeing him in the middle and part of the nature. So that feels very Pentacles,
Yeah.
and earthy. And maybe that's part of the blue. is the nature, the water part of nature. And
It is.
also that center feels like somebody dropped a pebble. It's almost like he's under the water
Mhm.
and somebody dropped a pebble on and it just rippled out.
Ripples out. Yeah.
Right? Because I mean he's very much the center of this card, but he also feels a little hidden to me. Like you
Mhm.
have to kind of go looking, you know, under the water or behind the bushes. Yeah, it's very interesting. It feels very much connected to where we are with this little dip of Pluto in Aquarius. I don't know why, just like this place of we don't really know where we are. So it's like it's okay to not know where we are exactly. That's kind of the message I'm getting.
And isn't the Earth Day this week? We're celebrating the Earth Day on, is it 23rd or
Today.
4th?
Second,
No. Or is it
22nd. Well, for you guys, it might be the
22nd? Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
I thought it was
Well, what-
interesting that it just stepped into the king, you know, the master of the suit, the one that has therefore taking it out for others. It's not only about himself. It's you know, he has the ability to lead, and
Mhm.
it's a gentle reminder that maybe we have that ability and we can show up for others. I think that it kind of yeah, that just came to me when I saw that card. God, that's a beautiful card.
It is. It is. I love
And-
the colors. Yeah.
To lead and
And
protect, right? He's a protector.
mm,
Yes.
Okay. Protecting his
but it,
people.
latching onto that ripple, it feels like if we take care of our own needs, we're rippling that message out into the world, and everyone can take care of themselves, and we are also able to take care of others then.
Oof, that's a good one.
You know, when I look at the card, because you got Pentacles, Earth, and then you got that watery, it immediately brings to mind the Saturn and Pisces, because Saturn, because we're actually dealing with both the feminine and the masculine at the same time. Because with Saturn, I think just as Karen and Alexandra just said, it's Saturn is the container that we need to bring together this oneness that we need to experience. And I love that, Alexandra, with if we do our personal thing and understand that we're part of the great whole, it will ripple out. I think that that is so key in terms of what you just said, because that is actually the biggest question that we're faced with. How do I extract me? And that goes back to what Monica was saying with Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius deals with the collective. It deals with the collective ideals. But right now, we don't know how to extract ourselves out of this mass, because Pisces can be illusionary if you follow with what everybody says. And on top of that, Saturn is saying you've got to make a plan for yourself in order to understand and receive the goodies.
Yeah, that's
Personally.
exactly this. Yeah, make a plan
So
for yourself. Yeah.
that's right. Make a plan, because and I see that card very much as being the Saturn. The king in this instance is that Saturn energy saying you can have what you desire, but you got to plan it out, and it can't be helter skelter in every which way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what the King of Pentacles really has a very strong foundation, you know, and grounded and stable. So
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about it being often the last card in a deck. You know, often Pentacles come last and the King is the last one. And this feeling on some level that he's kind of holding it all up. You know?
And that's what Saturn does. You know, if we look at it strictly as Saturn, and particularly the Capricorn earthy, it's the skeletal system. If we don't have our systems. And when our systems start breaking down,
Yeah,
things just go to pot. It's done.
that's right.
That's right.
Mhm.
Leila, Kasha, would you like to? Do you have any thoughts on this card?
I really liked what Monica said about, like, you know, you might catch glimpses of him. So it's almost like something's kind of with those kind of those concentric rings, it's almost like something's kind of glimmering around, but we're kind of, yeah, perhaps not. It's not something that we're kind of that feels tangible yet, even though that's kind of an earthly king. So there's a glimmering of something I'm seeing in that card. And also I feel like that king of all the kings, I think I feel like that king's really good with children, or with like or with just anyone who's sort of younger, whether that's kind of biologically younger or just younger in terms of where you are in your life. And I think he's, of all those kings, that's the one that kind of really helps you to make a plan. So there's this kind of, and so I think he's got a playful energy. This kind of, you know, in, like, you know, he might appear in pools or like a green man in trees, but then there's also the kind of the structure. So it just feels like there's a really nice kind of, both of those energies I think are in that king. Yeah.
You know, Layla, you captured the Pisces part so well, because that is the elusiveness, that's the word, elusiveness of the Pisces energy. You were saying, you know, you can kind of see it, but you can't kind of see it. And that's what this king, in particular, the guise of Saturn, is helping to stabilize, because it moves in and out, it shimmers. And you captured what you said, really captured it, that Piscean kind of energy.
Oh.
I think I'm going to keep this card out on my altar for this month.
It's beautiful. It's Neptunian as well, isn't it? Like
Yes.
the blue,
Yeah.
the mystical, the
Yeah.
it's a nice combo of the Green Man, the Hangman, the Odin, the somebody like Ophelia underwater. I don't know. It's a mix. It's a mix, but there's this mystical, mystical, magical quality and earthy and grounded quality because it's very still.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like a reflection, it's a mirror as well. So it's like if you're looking in the water, you would see that sort of reflection with concentric ripples out. It's like this ice ball. It's like also aim, right? And they have a goal. Sounds like a message to have a go and be grounded. Amidst all the craziness, of course, because even the weather in the UK was so lovely this morning, sunny and everything else. So I was out on the decking on the furniture with the cat, and it started chucking it down, and it was so cold. And I was even on a call with my mom and dad, and my little niece in Poland. She just started to ride a bike, so they were all excited, and we were like calling each other, and I'm like, guys, can I just say something? There's like 4 or 5 ducks. They've just flown over my house and sat on the ground, and I never see ducks here walking on the pavement, you know. And I think they were just like trying to take shelter because they knew something was coming. And the ducks, I even had to go out of the house. I ran out in my slippers. I had to come up to these ducks to check on them if everything was okay, if they had an accident or something, because it's very unusual. And yes, we have fishing lakes in the area, so we see herons and gulls and all sorts of birds like that. But water and sort of liminal birds. But ducks never, like, you know, small ducks walking on the between the houses. And I just walked up to them to check, are you guys okay? And they didn't even like fly away or anything. Like normal animal instinct would be just to take flight and run away from me, and they didn't. I was like, oh, something is coming. Is it hail or is it like, is the hell gonna open loose? Is the heavens gonna open? And the heavens did open, so I had to like quickly put all the cushions away from the decking. So all the cushions are literally stacked up in the kitchen on the floor. so they don't get soaked. So the weather was crazy today, but it calmed down now, so it's fine. I need some grounding today.
Eclipse shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think we'll close this part of our gathering, and yeah, the
Stop recording here. Is that
Mhm.
what? Okay.
Yeah, so thank you for joining this part of the session, and then we will now go into a more private sharing of our personal cards. And for those of you who are watching the replay, if you would like to join in next time, just join the Facebook group or the newsletter, and you will be informed when we are gathering again. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Okay.